Word. Okay, hi, my name is Renee Hobbs and welcome to week 4 of the NESA Network Learning Series in Digital Authorship. I am here with the amazing NESA teachers from Israel and Greece, and we're ready for a fun and a cool day with you. Let me start by sharing my screen with you. Oops, let me see if I can actually share my screen with you. I think you guys, give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen right now. Okay, wonderful. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to have an inquiry learning experience on this question: how can you design for learning? What will you create? What will your students create? Right? So we're coming to the final project where you create something and you plan for your students to create something. Now, we've definitely accomplished this first phase of the project where I've asked you to find your partner and put the basic idea for your plan on this Google Doc. We have some partners and some topics emerging very nicely here. And I can see that we're going to continue to develop these plans during this time period. Okay, so let's see now. We're basically going to talk about what is due next week, right? What's due next week is some kind of plan and some kind of product, right? Now, one of the things I want to point out is, of course, there's an opportunity for you to use this discussion forum after this class, after our Zoom meeting is over, to ask questions that might come to you during the week. And of course, I'm making time for you to schedule an individual meeting if that would be useful to you as well. So you can click on that link and you can schedule with my Calendly. One of the things that I've done that I think has transformed my teaching is I've stopped having to I can have more, digital media lets me have more individual consultation with students. Because if I'm only having a 1-hour Zoom meeting once a week, then basically I have to provide time for learners to meet with me individually. I use this tool called Calendly, and it's a game changer. It's linked to my Google Calendar, and it means that anyone can select a time to meet with me. They type in their name, their details, and voila, they show up on my calendar, and they get a link. Yeah, they get a link to my my Zoom meeting room. So, but I think I put the slides here for the overview for the week. So let me share them with you. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let me share them with you. I want to talk a little bit about what I observed last week in the work that you did for me last week. Oops, and to do that, I have to go all the way back to the beginning. Yes. Oh, here we go. We always start with a mood. We always start with a mood meter. Let's use the digital annotation tool in Zoom. You know where that is now. And why don't you identify what is your mood today? It's almost 5 o'clock in Athens. Which of these Muppet characters best captures your mood today? Put your cursor up to the top there where it says, whatever it says, use the annotate tool. And if you want, you can put a stamp next to the things you're feeling. I'm feeling happy, so I put a bunch of hearts next to Kermit. I'm happy because I am proofreading my new book. It comes out, I have 2 books coming out in the next 4 months. The propaganda book is already a hard copy and for sale on Amazon and everything, but the new book comes out in January. It's a textbook on media literacy, and I'm reading it right now, and it's like, oh, so exciting. So I'm happy. I am happy. Hey, look at Love Struck. Adorable. Who wants to talk about their feelings? Why did you circle the thing you circled? Anna. You're confused. Tell me.
I'm confused as I have to rearrange the lections for the gymnasium, and they are postponed for the 19th of October, and I feel so confused now
Yeah.
because I have to do all the work again.
So in fact, it's disrupted your
And
whole.
also I have to inform my colleagues and the parents through email.
Oh, what a drag. Yes, I could see that feeling. Who's next? Share me a feeling that you're feeling. Who's next? Why did you identify that feeling?
I speak?
Yeah, please.
So I'm feeling positive because I can see that we have learned many nice things and we have already started to put them in practice in the classroom, and this makes me feel quite positive for the future and happy as well.
Nice. I see all those hearts and stars there. Who else would like to share? What is your mood today? Don't be shy. I must hear from at least 2 more people. Okay, how about hopeful and love struck? Speak to me, please.
Okay, I'm Krisa. I chose hopeful. Actually, I was trying to get back to the Zoom meeting screen all this time, which is why I didn't say anything. But anyway, I'm hopeful because I don't want to. I'm tired of being grumpy and tired. It's the end of the day. I've been here at the school since 8 o'clock, so you know, I didn't want to say anything negative again, and I'm hopeful. I'm always hopeful for the future. It's got to be, getting better at some stage. You know, that's why. And I really liked the guy. I thought he was cute.
Adorable. Thank you so much for sharing. Who's next?
Oh, I guess me.
Thank
Okay, let me just turn the camera on. Oh, hello. Okay, well, love struck. Well, it's a weekday, and that was the first weekday after months that I had lunch with my husband. We had together, and then my daughter. So on a weekday, so I don't know, I felt love struck.
you for sharing. Isn't that wonderful? You had a disruption from the routine that brought your family into your workday. Like, you're right. What a precious thing. I'm so glad you're appreciating and celebrating that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm clearing all the drawings now. And I want to, and I realize that, see, I have to turn off my annotation before I can move on. So last week you annotated the strategic improvisation and risk-taking article. And like I said before, I learn from hearing or seeing and paying attention to your active reading. Your interpretation of that article gives me new insights. And that's why we form a reading community, right? That's why we read together and discuss. That's what it means to create knowledge, right? So a big idea in this scholarly article was that teachers create learning sequences or pathways to guide learners to success. And that theme is really relevant to what you're going to be working on this week. In my review of your annotations on Kami, I noticed that you definitely observed that teachers experience pressures to cover content, and that makes it sometimes difficult to use create to learn pedagogies. You appreciated that there is much value in getting children out of the building for learning purposes. And there was a beautiful commentary from you about when teachers respect learners, it helps build trust and accountability. Of course, learning to be trustworthy and to be accountable isn't something that happens once or twice. It's like a muscle that needs to be strengthened over time. And what you do with children in the elementary grades, in middle school, and in high school is preparing them to be trustworthy and accountable. And of course, here I am grading papers of my university students, and not all of them are trustworthy or accountable. And many of them haven't really learned how to do that in school. They learned how to follow orders, you know. they learned how to you know, adhere to a set of rules. But a sense of personal accountability, right? That's a skill that takes practice to learn. So as I was reading and grading papers, I was thinking about your great commentary on that. You also pointed out that teachers experience emotional pressures when they encounter unpredictable situations, and bringing technology into the classroom is going to create unpredictable situations, even if there's no homelessness incident, right? So you were very sensitive to that. And you also noted how the power of warm and cool feedback is a form of support, a form of feedback that helps students improve their work without the burden of evaluation, judgment, and grading. And that's a really key insight. Often, you know, we are trained to be evaluators. I myself felt the corrosive effect of always being grading and judging, right and wrong, you know, A, B, C, D. If that was the only kind of feedback that I could offer, then that really put me in a box. And I didn't want to be the kind of teacher who only was judging and evaluating. I also wanted to be helping and assisting, right? And supporting. And warm and cool feedback is a really great way to do that. And there are other techniques as well. Now, hold on here. I've got to get those annotations off my, I've got to get those annotations off my drawing. I thought one of the things that would be useful for you to do is think about all of the technologies that we've used in this 4-week course. We've used Zoom. This is like my little chart of what I've introduced you to in the last 4 weeks. We've used Zoom to model practices, like how to do things with technology and gather as a learning community. We used Flipgrid to share, reflect, and synthesize. We used threaded discussion to interpret, analyze, and apply ideas and information. We created a collaborative slide deck to synthesize knowledge by composing and sharing. We used Kami for Chrome to read actively as part of a knowledge community. And we used Video Ant to view actively as part of a knowledge community. You remember when I shared with you the samples of student videos and teacher videos, and you watched and you commented with the Video Ant tool. But there's more. I also gave you time to play with digital tools so that you could explore the affordances of composing with different kinds of digital media. I also asked you to create a video with a partner where you and your partner were like brainstorming, sharing, and documenting some ideas. You also used the Padlet to contribute ideas and share and publish your work. Remember, that's where you posted your video, right? You shared it with us on the Padlet. Last week, we experimented with Jamboard, the tool for brainstorming and developing ideas. And Google Slides, well, that's where we can publish our work. And that's what I'm going to talk with you more about that today. Okay, So we've made this chart of our team members and our project topics. What I want to do is take about 10 minutes to show you a model, and then I'll give you about 15 minutes to work with your partner. What will you create together, given that you only have 1 week? So I'm going to show you an example of 2 of my previous students. This summer, we had the 8th annual Summer Institute in Digital Literacy, which is a 42-hour intensive program. We've been running it for 8 years, and it attracts about 150 people from 35 states and about 10 countries. This year, 2 of my students in that program were Sarah Lee and Carmen Vallo. Both of them teach in New Mexico in a Native American reservation in a Pueblo community. Of course, the Native American, the original peoples of North America still live in the United States, and these 2 teachers work with the children who live in the Pueblo of Acoma. One is a 2nd grade teacher. You'll notice that when she describes her context, she says it's a tribally controlled school, right? One of our school goals, she writes, is to include the children's culture into the daily lessons as it is appropriate. So the other partner, Carmen, is a 6th grade teacher. And she writes, our school focuses on incorporating the culture and language of the students into the curriculum. Okay, so let's see what did they create together? The 2nd grade teacher and the 6th grade teacher, what did they create together? Well, the first thing they developed was kind of like a plan. As they talked together and imagined together, what kind of partners were they? They decided that they wanted to try to use some of these digital tools to get students to reflect on their culture, right? And they wanted to use the inquiry process with Adobe Spark, one of the simple video production tools. And their goal was for students to have a deep feeling of self-worth and a strong sense of community and respect with their classrooms. This is a really important goal in all learning communities, but particularly in Native American communities where the dropout rate is extremely high. In Native American communities, the dropout rate might be as high as 50% or more. So kids who don't feel good about themselves and who don't feel good about school are not going to get through high school. So teachers feel really inspired to help students feel confident about themselves as learners, as they're in their identity as learners. So I'm going to click here, see where it says click here to access the materials they created. And now you can see how up at the top has opened a new Google slide. This is the work they created and published to share their work. So let's take a look at it. Take a look at these photos and think about what they mean to you. Let me just make this a little bit bigger here.
Take a look at these photos and think about what they mean to you.
Okay, so this is a simple 30-second video created by the teachers as a way to start to open this activity. Now it looks like they're doing a I see, I think, I wonder activity. After looking at the video of images, what are you curious about? Create your own chart similar to this one. Fill in as many thoughts as you can in each column. So now I'd like to hear from you. What did that slideshow of images, what did you see? What did you think? What did you wonder? turn on your microphone and tell me, what did you notice about that 30-second video? What did you think? What did you wonder?
Sorry.
Okay. What I saw was some cultural artifacts that I suppose they're related to their specific culture. I haven't, they look like things we have in our culture, but they're not exactly the same. So what makes me wonder is how they're probably used, or is it only for decoration, let's say? I mean, this is what captured my attention, the artifacts.
Thank you for sharing. Who's next? What did you see? What did you notice? What did you wonder? Nicoletta.
Poverty, poor. The buildings were derelict, sort of. An impoverished area and people.
Yeah. Among the poorest people in the United States are the Pueblo, the Native American people. Thank you for sharing. Who's next? What did you see? What did you notice? What did you wonder?
I'm Zoe. I'm wondering what kind of jobs doing people doing there, because there are only ruins, and their food are simple food they produce that they produce there. They are in the side, outside of the society.
Thank you for sharing. Krissa.
Yeah, well, in the video, I noticed everything that all my colleagues said, but also what I found really interesting was when the teachers published their purpose of the activity, their objective, I saw that one of them said that their school's objective was to incorporate the language and culture of the students into the curriculum, and I found that fantastic, you know, and I would love to know how they do that. You know, it's a great, great thing. You know, I like that a lot.
Yeah, so this lesson is trying to accomplish that. Now, you know, I've been teaching teachers for 30 years, and I've taught thousands of teachers on all 4 continents, but never have I had the opportunity to teach teachers who work on a Native American reservation. Because you know what? Typically, I charge money for my professional development, and it's expensive. Only middle-class schools or wealthy schools often
They can afford you.
But because I was able to offer my professional development online, it was very affordable. And so I was thrilled to be able to teach online because I got access to students who I might never have had the opportunity to work with. And that is a form of, that's a benefit of digital learning I am just beginning to appreciate, because here I am teaching you. Oh my God. How marvelous, and how much less expensive than getting on a plane and going to Greece every week, right? All right, let me keep showing. This isn't just what the teachers created, they created more. So step 1 was we wonder about some images, right? And you could see how this could differentiate very nicely with 2nd grade children and 6th grade children, right? This activity could work for both the younger children and the older children. Now, let's watch this video. Think about what it means to be an Acoma Pueblo Indian.
New Mexico, feels like home to me. As vast as the Mother Road is, so is the abundance of culture you will encounter along the way. Highlighted here, Pueblo design and architecture, From ancient pueblos dotting our landscape to the Pueblo revival architecture made popular in the early 20th century, our Native American heritage and architectural styles are prevalent across our state. One of our oldest and continuously inhabited pueblos sits right off Route 66, Acoma Pueblo. Just over an hour west of Albuquerque off I-40 on State Road 23 is this stunning pueblo. The oral history of the Acomas relates this mesa as their spiritual homeland, and the Acoma people have resided on this sandstone bluff since time immemorial. While archaeologists recognize their habitation dating back as far as 1150 AD, recent excavations suggest it may have been inhabited even earlier. Regardless of its dates of origin, Acoma is legendary as a hospitable community receiving wanderers on their journey, sharing the riches of their land and soil. This legacy continues today as Sky City Cultural Center in the Pueblo welcomes thousands of visitors every year. Comprised of 250 dwellings, some of which are inhabited year-round, others used to host families during ceremonies, the Pueblo is still at the heart of the community, a place to reunite and celebrate. Take the time to explore the massive center.
Okay, we're not going to watch this whole video, but you get the concept, right?
Esteban Del Rey
Oops.
mission.
So next activity. The children are asked to make something to show what you know about yourself and your culture. Create your own story. You will need to create your own slide video on Adobe Spark, and they're going to use a Zoom meeting to demonstrate this, how to use this tool. Please include your Acoma introduction in English and Keres, any information photos that illustrate your Acoma pride, information photos about what you like to do with your family and friends, what you are good at, and some of your favorites. So then they plan to do a Google Meet or a Zoom meeting to demonstrate how to use the Adobe Spark, and they provide an example. Here's an example of the child's My Story. Let's watch.
Let's see. My story. I'm important. I got a picture of me in my traditional clothing, and I labeled them. And I said start with belt, necklace, manta, dress, and that's what I have for my labeling. And here's me in my Indian clothes. I wrote about when I danced for our feast day. My brothers and sisters, we laugh, we ride bikes, we play. My favorites, friends, ice cream, school. I love me.
Okay.
My story, I'm important.
Adorable, right? So then this is the beautiful part. The teacher's Flipgrid reflection to the student's My Story project. The student.
I love putting my pictures in. It is fun. I love wearing my Indian clothes. It is also fun too. And I wonder what the other kids like to wear. Bye.
The teacher.
Hi, JD. How are you doing? I just wanted to send you a little video telling you that I saw your project. I could tell that you must have enjoyed making it because it was fabulous. I hope it was fun. I loved the pictures. I loved how you could record your audio and explain everything and read what you had written in your journal. I love the picture of you in your traditional Indian clothes and how you labeled everything. Your photos are awesome. I loved seeing the one with you and your brothers gardening. I think it was a really great piece of work that showed how special you are. You're amazing. I give you a double thumbs up and an A+. Awesome.
Okay, that's kind of cool, right? So they built their whole project using Google Slides, right? They had their lesson as a slide deck. The one digital artifact they created was that 30-second image montage to support the I Think, I Wonder activity. And then they created the sample student work with the Flipgrid response, right? So Google Slides, Adobe Spark Video. Oh, and I forgot to put in Flipgrid. So bad for me. Now it's your turn. What will you create together? Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to break you up into teams, your teams, and I'm going to invite you to work collaboratively on the Jamboard. You might discuss questions like, what's the title of your project? Who are your learners? What will students learn? How will the activity be sequenced? What digital tools will be used? What will students create? How will you know it has been successful? And also, what will you create? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. And now I'm going to put this link into the chat and invite you to go there. Then I'll break you up into teams. And you'll work with your partner. Give me a thumbs up if you understand that set of activities that we're about to do. You'll be discussing your project with your partner for about 15 minutes. I've now put the Jamboard link in the chat room. Give me a thumbs up when you are able to open that. I see the thumbs are going up. Okay, so now I'm going to put you into groups and you're going to do your work. Let me see if I can do that. I'm going to put together, let's see if I can do this. How many groups do I have? 7? Okay, let me try this one. I'll try this. Maybe it'll be 8 participants. Breakout room 1 is 1, Ollie and Eleni. Breakout room 2 is SB and Denise. Breakout room 3 is Charlios. And who's working with you? Who's your partner?
I'm working with Irini. She's a leader.
Okay, thank you.
I'm working for her generally.
Okay. Adorable. Okay. Carissa, Dinos, Liza, Nicoletta. Let's start with Maria Corda. Who are you working with, Maria?
I'm working with Maria Corda.
Okay, Dinos and Maria. Very nice. Thank you. And let's see now. Mary, who are you working with?
I'm working with Carissa. There we go.
Beautiful.
She's got her hand up.
Perfect. And Nicoletta, who are you working with?
Lisa.
Beautiful. Okay, and so that puts Susan and who's number 8?
Zoe. Me.
Susan and Zoe, open all rooms. Now you've gotten an invitation to work with your partner in the group breakout room. Use the Jamboard to start taking notes on your plan as you develop it. I'll come around and take a look at what you're doing. SB, I'm just checking to see if you have gotten the notice to join the breakout room. There she is. Good.
Τρολόγια. Μας παρακολουθεί. Γλυκούλα. Οπότε αυτό
What is that?
Τι λες?
Σίγουρα.
Άρα πάμε να γράψουμε και
Έχω
τα
μια
υπόλοιπα.
σταθή. Ναι.
Ωραία, βάζεις.
Για πες, τι θες. Is the title of your project? Πώς θα το πούμε?
We can say that it is about fossils. Because you remember that we wanted to do this on the geography lesson.
Να πούμε collect data και analyze.
Κάτσε να το γράψουμε σε πλαισιάκι καλύτερα.
Σε πλαισιάκι, πάρε ένα sticky note από κάτω.
Ναι, κάτσε. Να σβήσω.
Collect. Collect.
Κάτσε, το γράφω κι εγώ.
Α, το γραφείς.
Ναι, για πες. Collect and analyze.
What will students learn? Να σου πω κάτι. Carry out an experiment, γιατί θα το κάνουν μόνοι τους.
Ωραία.
To collect data.
Έχει γίνει review, ξέρεις σοβαρή είναι αυτό, το περιοδικό.
Είναι φυσικό.
Ξέρεις σοβαρή είναι. Έχει
δεν
impact
σου
factor
βρίσκω εγώ την...
7-8. Αυτό έχει τόσο impact factor, να ξέρεις.
Το διαβάζω.
Αυτό είναι τρομερό. Το άνοιξες. Το DOI.
Ναι, το διαβάζω.
Πώς έχεις πρόσβαση? Είναι open source.
Physics.org. Στο Physics.org είμαι. Δεν στο ανοίγει.
Περίμενε.
Αυτό που σου στείλα εγώ το ανοίγω.
Ναι. Εγώ μου στείλες ένα άρθρο που λέει Physics of Bubbles can explain language in patterns. Αυτό δεν λες?
Patterns. Αυτό λέω.
Και κάτω-κάτω έχει ένα DOI που λέει. Αυτό δεν λες?
Α, έχει αυτό δεν το είδα. Περίμενε.
Είδα, έχει ένα DOI, αλλά αν έχεις... Κάτω-κάτω έχει και το... Κάτω-κάτω, αν πας κάτω-κάτω, έχει ένα grip πλαίσιο, more information, το βλέπεις?
No.
Πιο κάτω, στο τέλος του άρθρου. The research was published last week.
Α, όχι, πριν τις διαφημίσεις.
Κοίτα, σε αυτό που μου στείλες μετά ξεκινάνε κάτι που ξεκινάει η Αγγλία. Έχει την Αγγλία σε χάρτη, αυτό δεν είναι?
Δείχνει για το dialects.
Video related to COVID-19.
Video related to COVID.
19. Μόλις το έγραψα.
Α, το έγραψες, ωραία, τέλεια.
Δεν ξέρω, φαίνεται.
Να δω, περίμενε. Video related to COVID-19, σωστά.
Ωραία, απλά να τα βάλω σε μία σειρούλα. Το τραβήξω και λίγο αυτό, να πάει λίγο εδώ.
Να σε ρωτήσω κάτι. Αυτό
ναι.
που έγραψα εγώ,
ναι.
Γιατί δεν
εδώ που λέει Microsoft Office και όλα αυτά.
Ναι.
Κάτσε να το μεγαλώσω λίγο. Είναι ωραίο, έχει και... τι πάτησες για να το φτιάξεις?
Πάτησα... Κάτσε τώρα γιατί έχει γίνει λάθος, περίμενε. Α, πρέπει να είναι... Receive feedback on the...
Βάλω εδώ COVID-19
product of our project. Feedback.
Campaign. Το campaign καλά το έγραψα.
C-A-M-P-A-I-G-N.
Ωραία. Εντάξει. What is the title of your project? Something like θα γράψω. Γιατί ούτως ή άλλως. Εντάξει, δεν νομίζω να πειράζει. Edit.
How will the activity be?
Something like COVID-19 campaign.
Πώς το γράφεις εσύ και πώς... Εγώ
ναι, λοιπόν, θα πάω. Πηγαίνω στο sidebar που έχει που έχει pen, έχει το erase, ένα βέλος και υπάρχει ένα πλαίσιο που λέει text box.
Recording the voice. Πρέπει να βγούμε και το θέμα, π.χ. να το συνδέσουμε είτε με culture που κάναμε, είτε με το presidents, ή όχι δεν την ενδιαφέρει να της πούμε the topic.
Λεπτομέρειες, while presenting the
information,
their voice, while projecting photos.
Όχι, photos που θα είναι, ναι, photos που θα είναι in relation to the topic.
In relation to the topic. Τέλεια, τέλος, ωραία, πάει αυτό. Εντάξει, βασικά αυτό κάνω τώρα, δεν... Απλά κάτσε να δω.
Την άλλη ερώτηση πες μου, γιατί της είδα που...
Renee told them to change our name.
Different projects, but we will share with each other to discuss them and get ideas. Okay, do you see, can you read what I wrote? It's so small.
I can't see.
No, you can't read it now. It's too small, huh? Let me duplicate it. Okay, I have an idea. Just a minute.
Okay, it looks like you are all back. Wonderful. Did you notice how I peeped into your room to check on you? Did you notice? No.
We heard you.
You did notice. Yes, I turned off my camera and I turned off my microphone. You know how when your students are working in small groups, you sometimes go over to monitor? This is what I was doing. I was checking to make sure you were on task. I also was looking at your Jamboard to see what you were building on your slide deck, or if you were otherwise focused on your planning together. Now you understand that I'm expecting that you're going to spend about 3 hours, maybe even longer, maybe even 5 hours in the next week to prepare for what's ahead. Let's just review what are my expectations for our final meeting. What would I like you to have completed before our final meeting next Tuesday, October 13th? Here we are on 4.1. If you're wondering about the slides that I showed you today, the slides are right here in the overview of the week. See how they pop open? They have all the slides, the example of the Ancoma Pueblo, everything there are Google Slides. So you're going to create a plan with any kind of lesson plan structure that's familiar to you. I gave you some ideas for questions to explore on the Jamboard, but however you want to do it, I'm okay. Something that you create, right? And one product is expected. If you create more than one, fine, but only one product is expected, right? Remember that you can meet with me if you want. You post your project to this Padlet wall, and then most important, John Dewey told us 100 years ago, learning doesn't happen without reflection on action. It's not just taking action, right? It's reflecting on action. So compose a Flipgrid video where you reflect on the highlights and lowlights of this project as a learning experience for you. Remember, in Create to Learn pedagogies, the learning process is far more important than the products you produce. Reflection is key to unlock those insights. Tell the story of your project-based learning experience. Think about these questions as you make a Flipgrid response. Okay. I am super excited, and now I would like to take your temperature again this week. 5 if you're feeling excited and happy about this possible project that you're creating together. 1 if you're even more scared than ever before. Where are you on your temperature chart? Charlios, your hands, as always, are so expressive.
Yes, if I do my work, the leader will punish me. I will be punished, left without food in my room.
The power of 2 will unleash your creativity.
The power of leadership.
Yeah, remember that you can choose how to work together. As we talked about last week, you can work very closely together, a little bit closely, or not at all closely. I am okay with all 3 of those ways of working as the power of 2. Remember, if you have questions, you can email me, you can schedule time to meet with me, but it's time for us to go now. Let's wave goodbye. Goodbye. I'll see you next week. Have fun creating this week, you guys.
Goodbye, everyone.